God's thoughts towards me are of good and not of evil, to bring me to an expected end. My expected end is good bola, good size bola. Let it just be appealing to the eyes when your clothes come off. Let it be something that I can hold. Let it be something that I hold like this and my hand fills up. It fills my hand up, or my hand can wrap it up. All right? Let it just be something that is strong. Let it be strong. Kakaraka. I don't want a situation where we're trying to look for it in the midst of the hair. Where is it? Where? What? No, please. Let my husband not be like that in Jesus' name, because straight up divorce. Yeah? I have waited this long to come and be searching for a joystick in between hairs. Oh my God. You'll feel it. Them go feel it. Them go hear it now. Them go, Them go, Hey guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jane Lawrence and I come with a lot of juicy content. If this is your first time, you're welcome to the family. To my OGs, you know I love you. Big time. Big time. On today's episode of Juiciness, we are going to be talking about vaginal orgasms, how to experience full body orgasmic bliss. So if you're currently struggling to have intense coochie orgasms, then you are in the right place. This video is going to show you the exact steps you need to take to start experiencing Juicypot orgasms during sex and on your own. See, almost every woman can have a orgasm. All you need to do is the right techniques and the ability to remove the mental obstacles that get in the way and prevent you from climaxing vaginally. You know, your brain is solely responsible for activating your orgasms, right? So now let you know why most women do not even have orgasmic bliss. When you get so distracted often during the activity, when you're doing the do, you observe that it either takes you a longer time to reach your climax or you never reach it at all. That's why it's very important to get the mental blocks off the course if the goal is to always get to that climax. Now, I'm going to split this video into two sections. The first section is a quick refresher on your anatomy as a woman, the science behind your vaginal orgasms, and why vaginal orgasms differ from clitoral orgasms. So think of the first section as the groundwork. It is the vital information that will make achieving a vaginal orgasm much easier. The second section is all about the techniques to which you can achieve your orgasms. Are you ready? Let's jump into the first section. Now, let's talk about our vaginal and clitoral orgasms. Hopefully, you already know this, but in case you don't, clitoral orgasm comes from clitoral stimulation on the outside of the Juicypot, while vaginal orgasms come from the internal stimulation from your man's joystick or your toys and whatever. Now, many people believe that the G-spot inside your coochie or a woman's coochie is maybe a separate entity, but in reality, it is not. It's actually an extension of your powerhouse, aka the clit. So when your powerhouse gets stimulated, just know that that's just part of the rest of the organ, because the rest of the clitoris is beneath the surface of your coochie. It is on the anterior wall of the coochie, and it's like 2 to 3 inches in from the opening of your Juicypot. Understand that clitoral orgasms tend to be more common during intercourse, and less than half of us women have regular vaginal orgasms during intercourse. And it's because either the man is not patient enough to keep hitting the G-spot consistently with a rhythm that you like, or you're not just in the moment, or you don't even understand your body. Like I said earlier, you've got to be in the moment to enjoy the strokes and the pattern and the rhythm. You need to soak up the sensation. Even if you have to close your eyes to get into it, do it. Do it. You have to fight for your orgasms, because that's when your brain intensifies the sensation you feel, and then you feel the sensation grow. It grows and grows and grows until you reach that crescendo, and boom, you explode. Your orgasm is in the head. Is in the head. The moment you distract yourself, the moment you start thinking of something else, and you sway yourself, you take your mind away from what's happening, what your man is doing to you. You have taken yourself to ground zero. That's why you must be in the moment. Feel every stroke and sensation. That's if your man is doing it well and he's patient enough to take you there, because he needs to be patient. If you're new on my channel, you will not know that I have said that a woman's body is like a treasure. It's like a grave it's like an earth where treasure has been buried. You have the A spot, which is, I will talk about the A spot in here. Don't worry. Let's just be going. All right? So soak up the emotion, soak up the sensation that you're feeling. Soak it up. Do not think about anything. Bring your mind into the movement. Forget about your work. Forget about your baby. Forget about whatever. And put your mind in the moment. But you know, the funny thing is that of the women who report having vaginal orgasms, many find them to be much more intense and satisfying than the clitoral orgasms. Vaginal orgasms are more intense than clitoral orgasms. It's like the clitoral orgasms are just child's play when compared to the vaginal orgasms. But you need a man who understands your body and plays it well. You need a man who understands a woman's terrain and knows how to work it, play it like a guitar. Now let's talk about the right spots. Now let's first, realize that having a vaginal orgasm is slightly different for every woman. No two women are the same. Now, number one, you need to realize that some women can have one orgasm from generous stimulation throughout the Juicypot from a man's joystick. They don't need their man to hit a particular spot. None of that. But if you're a man trying to make your partner orgasm, make sure to ask her first. Because some women don't need you to hit a spot in their Juicypot. Just having your joystick stroking their pum-pum is all they need. Just let it enter. They are finished. They have gone to cloud 9. Well, secondly, there are other women who need intense stimulation on their G-spot, on the anterior wall of their coochie, if they want a vaginal orgasm. Although some people don't believe in the G-spot. Some people don't believe that it's there, but I firmly do. It's there. It's located about 2 to 3 inches inside your coochie on the anterior wall. But trust me, it can be difficult to find. What you just need to do is to insert your finger. It's just at the top of your coochie, 2 to 3 inches. You do your finger like a cum heater. What do they call them? As if you're calling someone to come here, to come to you. You'll feel a rough ridge, rigid, or is it a rough surface like a knob around there. You stimulate it. That's the end of your clit. But it's difficult to find. You have to be really aroused for it to pop out. Now, 3, some women need intense stimulation on their A spot. This spot also has other names such as the deep spot, the anterior fornix erogenous zone. Now, this is on the anterior wall of your Juicypot, just like the G-spot, but it is deeper. It is between the cervix and the bladder. However, you might find other spots to be pleasurable as sensitivity in the coochie varies. Now, finding out what kind of stimulation you need for a vaginal orgasm depends on your body and your preference. So you're going to need to do a bit of experimentation to discover what feels best for you. Of course, I can't talk about orgasm and not talk about mental blocks to having vaginal orgasms. But first, you need to take out time to answer these questions. Do you always find yourself really close to orgasm, or really close to having a vaginal orgasm during sex with your man? Like, do you feel like you are just at the absolute edge, but you just need a tiny notch to get over the edge and climax vaginally? But boom, in another breath, it seems like that feeling just vanishes immediately. Yeah, if that's the case, you're not alone. You're not alone. Almost all women who struggle to have vaginal orgasms share the same problem. And that's because we have certain mental blocks and, restraints that prevents us from fully relaxing and letting go. And these blocks include things like stress, trying to force the orgasm, trying to reach the end goal, especially when your man is telling you, have you orgasmed or are you reaching there? Being distressed about not being able to orgasm, and that seems to be a vicious cycle. We also find ourselves as women having performance anxiety, or we're thinking about our negative past experience while doing the do. Or we have, anxiety about whether our men think we have a normal coochie or if it's different. I mean, this thing seems obvious, right? But of course, it's hard to get aroused when you're stressed and having an impending deadline at work that is worrying you. So putting pressure on yourself to orgasm is obviously going to work against you and make it harder for you to come. You have to relax. Having past negative experiences like, having an abusive boyfriend who only cared about his own pleasure can make it pretty difficult for you to focus on your own sexual gratification in marriage. Because listen, having a vaginal orgasm will become far easier if you can get yourself into a relaxed state of mind, unperturbed by stress or worries or any kind of performance anxiety. So I need you to clear your mind when you're doing it next time. Relax when you're doing it. Don't think about anything. Just enjoy yourself. Now, once you've identified and overcome, potential mental blocks and obstacles, then it's time for you to learn the actual techniques that will push you over the edge into orgasmic bliss. I will call this journey for one. See, it's going to be much easier to try to have a vaginal orgasm all by yourself first before trying it with your man, because you're going to feel less pressure. All right. So you could start by using a dildo to mimic your man. Otherwise, use a regular dildo or your finger if they're long enough. Now, once you penetrate yourself, it's then a case of finding the most pleasurable spot on your coochie to stimulate. Like I said earlier, for most people, this is going to be either your G spot or your deep spot, which is also known as the A spot. You just need to maneuver your dildo into place so that it can start stimulating that spot. Then it's a case of experimenting with the technique I am about to give to you by yourself before trying them out with your man. First technique for an intense vaginal orgasm is what I call the angle position. You then need to think about the most satisfying angle or position of your penetration, whether you're using a dildo or you're having sex. Is your dildo pointing upwards or downwards or slightly into the side of your coochie, or is it parallel? Once you figure this out, you can then replicate that angle with your man during sex. And if those angles are really nice, if those are the angles that you like that gets you to your climax, if it's upward that gets you, or sideways or parallel that gets you to your climax, practice it with your man after you finish practicing it with your dildo or with your toy. Number two, let's talk about how deep you need your man to go. Now, there is a silly myth floating around that, deeper is always better. Of course, this is certainly true for some women, but not for all. Like I said earlier, the G-spot is between 2 to 3 inches deep into your coochie. So if you need a G-spot stimulation to bring you over the edge, then you may not particularly need deep penetration at all. However, there is also an area much deeper in your coochie called the A spot. Some women have intense full body orgasms when this part of their coochie is being stimulated. Obviously, if you prefer having your A spot stimulated during sex, then you're going to prefer deeper penetration from your man. Number three is what I call the rhythm. Fast or slow, which do you like? And in case you don't know, always remember that rhythm and consistency is all that it takes for you to come as a woman, even as a man. Now, let me explain rhythm for you. Rhythm is the way he moves, the way the joystick goes in and out of the coochie, right? How does he go? Does he angle it? That's where we're talking about angling. Does he angle it upwards or downwards? Do you like him swirling in and out? That's rhythm. Now, consistency is if what gets you to get to the edge, or if what gets you to climax right, is swirling, him swirling his joystick in and out of your juicy pot or angling it to your G spot upwards, right? Then let him stay consistently in that angle, in that pattern, in that rhythm. If it's swirling that you like, let him consistently stay there till you climax. That's consistency and that's rhythm. So movement is the rhythm. Consistency is staying on that rhythm. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then again, another myth that I see perpetuating the internet is that faster is always better. You probably already know how untrue this is, right? Because a more accurate description is that the right rhythm is best. So finding what works for you, finding a fast, slow, or medium paced rhythm is a critical part of having a vaginal orgasm. You will also find out that a steady rhythm is much more preferable than stopping and starting or going from fast to slow or vice versa. Now, let me explain it, especially if you're new to this channel. So if your man is stroking or licking you down there with a particular pattern that you like, assuming you like slow on your, clit or your powerhouse, your man should just maintain that pattern and rhythm. Because if he stops or tries another pattern or now tends to go slow when you like it fast, it may just put you off that path to your orgasm. So do you get what I mean? Now, moving on to more techniques that can get you there. Number 4, do you like it rough or gentle? Because another personal preference is how hard you like it. Do you like gently making love with your man, with soft, loving strokes? Or do you prefer more animalistic, intense, wild sex, where he's penetrating you with everything that he's got, with sweat dripping down from all over him, and he's running out of breath, and you're just there screaming your lungs out? I know most women enjoy both, depending on their mood. Because let's be honest, after a wild night out, intense sex can be a lot more fun. But if you've just had, an emotional heart-to-heart conversation with your man, then more loving and intimate sex will probably feel more appropriate. So you need to figure out if you like it gentle or you like it rough. Now, number 5, how are we ever going to talk about achieving your orgasms without talking about size? And to be honest, right? To be honest, there is no other way to put this. Joystick. The size of a joystick does matter to us women when it comes to having vaginal orgasms. So if your man is too short or does not have enough girth or width, then he won't be able to stimulate you as intensely as you would like to. However, if he's too big, then he's going to feel very uncomfortable inside you, and sex can feel painful instead of pleasurable. And of course, the same problem would definitely arise if your man is too long and you're short, or the depth of your coochie is short. For a significant amount of women, the ideal size is average or a little above average, provided it's attached to a man that knows what he's doing and he's willing to listen to your feedback. Then you're good to go and you're one lucky girl. However, some women prefer joysticks on the larger side, while other women prefer them on a smaller side. It all comes down to your personal preference. For me, just a good length and good width. Let it just be appealing to the eyes when your clothes come off. Let it be something that I can hold. Let it be something that I hold like this and my hand fills up. It fills my hand up, or my hand can wrap it up. All right? Let it just be something that is strong. Let it be strong, kakaraka. Let it be strong, kakaraka. I don't want a situation where we're trying to look for it in the midst of the hair. Where is it? Where? What? No, please. God, don't bring such men to me. Let my husband not be like that in Jesus' name, because straight up divorce. Yeah? I have waited this long to come and be searching for joystick in between hairs. Why? Hey, God, God knows the thought, God's thoughts towards me are of good and not of evil, to bring me to an expected end. My expected end is good bola, good size bola. Even if it's going to be scary, at least let me know that there is something dangling there. You know, it's walking and it is moving. Dang, 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 dang. Something that you can play with it like this. Now let's move on to number 6 technique to consider when you're thinking of getting your climax, and that's what I call the magic touch. Now, not many people consider this technique, and it's all about your man applying constant pressure to a particular spot in your coochie with his joystick. Why am I belching like this? And for him to perform this magic, he needs to penetrate you so that the tip of his joystick, that's the head of his joystick, is pressing against a particular spot. And then he just holds himself in place, keeping constant pressure applied. It just depends on what spot does it for you. A good spot for him to hit with the tip of his joystick during the magic touch is your A spot, when he's deep inside you. He just goes deep inside you, the A spot, and stays there, applying pressure. He does not move, just applying pressure there. Oh my God. You'll feel it. Them go feel it. Them go hear it now. Them go, them go, I say you go feel it. Let him just stay there. Press in. Apply pressure on the A spot. If you can apply pressure on the G spot as well, just stay there, angle it, apply pressure. You will feel it. You will feel it. You go feel them. You go feel them. Let me they tell you, you go feel them. Now I have a video on how to find the A spot, but hey, the A spot is an erogenous spot that sits at the top of the coochie between the cervix and the bladder. Now, many women have reported that the magic touch feels fantastic, while some, don't get much pleasure from it all. So it just depends on you. Now, there are also many other techniques that you or your man can perform with your fingers and your hands, or you adapt them for use during sex or with a dildo. And these include techniques like the hook, push the button, come hither, and the arm shaker. You just Google all of this. Now, number 7 way for you to experience full body orgasmic bliss is being in the right position. It goes without saying that the right position during sex is vital for orgasming vaginally, like with the techniques I described before. The only way to find the right position for you to have a vaginal orgasm is by testing out many different positions and seeing which one works for you. Now, the final thing that I would say on achieving vaginal orgasm with your man is that you need to talk to him. As cheesy as it may sound, communication is key when it comes to intercourse. When you can share tips with each other on what you both enjoy, you will quickly get in sync and find that having vaginal orgasm can be a lot easier, and it will get easier as the day goes by. All right, so this is where I'm going to cap it all up until I come your way. When I come your way next time, do enjoy a swell time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, guys. I need you to share this video with your friends. Share all of my contents with your friends, or with your wife, or with your wives, or with your husbands. Share with married couples as well, because I believe that marriage is a suffering, and 2 things that are causing this thing is, sex, money, character defaults, and all of that stuff. So I am trying to build a community of couples that can be more in sync with their personality traits, and also they receive satisfaction on a soul level intimately. You're not having sex just for fun. You're having sex to connect with your souls. And I believe that couples who connect with themselves soul wise, it will be difficult for them to break up. It will be difficult for you to stay apart. That's the kind of love that I want. I want that Romeo and Juliet kind of love, Romeo and Juliet kind of intimacy, but without the death at the end of it. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. Know that I love you, and God loves you, and God loves you most. Mwah!